I imagine if you're 18, it's quite cool to say you're a YouTuber. If you're 46, it's a bit embarrassing. Like I don't want to have to go, I'm a YouTuber. So I just say I make videos and then hope they don't ask any more questions.
Hey friends, welcome back to the channel to Tech Club, the ongoing series where I review tech and apps and other products.
This is Digital Voices.
You thought about doing a YouTube channel. And I feel sorry for people who come to my channel, because I do like ski videos and things, I'll subscribe for that and then I'm taking out the bins or something like that.
Hello and welcome back to Creator Behind the Influence with Digital Voices. We are here today with one of my favourite people to just chat with. We're here with the wonderful Robbie Knox.
Hello Internet. Hello.
You can introduce yourself properly. Also a listener of the podcast.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a completist. Not heard everyone, but I have listened to multiple episodes.
Yeah, favourite one?
Becky's one, because she said that I was her favourite YouTuber. So I thought that's anything with praise for me, I'm all over.
Becky's one was amazing. She also looked so glamorous, and then I had flown overnight and looked like a mess. So every time I try and watch that back, I'm like, oh Becky, I felt like a pile of mud.
I've got new socks on today for you.
They're nice, great, and I like the stripes.
Yeah, I think there's coordination going on here.
Yeah,
don't throw this together.
Stylish. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you have been creating content for a long, long while, and you worked in TV beforehand. Worked producing TV at Soccer AM.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you transitioned to YouTube. You've got like 200,000 followers across your platforms. I think you've seen a very different side of YouTube. Yeah,
I'm 46, which is older than most YouTubers, as you'll be aware. And I didn't really know, because I worked in TV and stuff like that, and I knew YouTubers, I knew Jack, but I didn't really watch it unless I had to change a plug or something like that. I've never done that in my life, I don't know why I picked that as an example. I'd learned how to do things from YouTube. So in my head, YouTube was for like young people, or to learn how to do something you didn't know how to do. I didn't realise that there were channels for everything, whatever you're into. And then I was with a guy called Will Brazier, who worked at Sporf, he's a friend of ours, and he was saying, have you ever thought about doing a YouTube channel? I said, well, I'm probably a bit old to do that. He said, no, you should do. He said, because in the nicest possible way, I don't want to sound rude, because I know what it's like being an 18-year-old starting uni, because every September there's 300,000 vlogs about being an 18-year-old starting uni. He goes, I don't really know what it's like being a middle-aged man. So I said, okay, well, I'll do a video a week for 6 months, because I think if you're going to do something, you should try and do it properly. And if I enjoy it, I'll keep going. If I don't, I'll stop. I quite liked it. So here we are. We're all stuck with me.
Well, I remember you did the first video I worked on with you was Pouch.
Yep.
And you made raised allotment beds.
Yep, yeah, I did.
And I loved it. And Pouch were like, God, what is this the secret sauce? Should people build allotments? They were like, it really converted. This is great.
It
did. It did really well.
I think from feedback I get is that things do convert quite well from brand things. I'm not just saying that in case brands are watching, but generally, the feedback I get is that everyone should work with me.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone should work with Robbie.
Yeah, I think it's quite good to sort of tailor things as well to brands, like as in, so I'm doing some stuff for Beer 52 at the minute, and as long as it fits in with what you're doing, it's good to try and do something that's vaguely going to be in line with what you do, because I do such varied things. Yeah. So I'm doing something I presume by the time this goes out, we'll be out where I went with Bambi and Becky to the world's oldest pub in Ireland, which obviously fits in with the beer things. I always try and get things that marry up.
Yeah, because you've got such a wide variety of content. From
it's mental.
Interviews, and it seems like all of it kind of seems to work. So how do you come up with the concepts? How do you come up with video ideas?
Well, I think literally anything gets on the Robbie Knox channel. Like Jack when with Jaackmaate who do the podcast with, when we'll mention something, they won't mention when to do something, he goes, that could be a Robbie Knox video, and I go, you've just said anything, haven't you? And you can. And I feel sorry for people who come to my channel, and because I do like ski videos, and people go, oh, I love these things, I'll subscribe for that, and then I'm taking out the bins or something like that, and unsubscribe. So whenever I'm trying to release a video, it's like boing, like it's instantly like 20 people go, no.
Yeah, it's random genres. It's like potatoes, bins, skiing, pubs, and then like just random life.
I think it's because I'm doing this because I think it helps me live the lifestyle that I want to live. Yeah. There's no point in doing something that I'm not into, because if you keep it as wide as possible, it means I can just do things and not get bored of doing stuff.
And what lifestyle do you want to live? I mean, like, there's a real difference between the people who start at 16 and are like, oh, I want to be a full-time YouTuber, to you've got like 3 kids at home, your wife, Like, what lifestyle do you want?
I want work that I can fit around my life, and I want to be able to hang out with my kids and do the school run, and travel as well and do things like that. It's not all just wholesome kid stuff. It's like, I want to go skiing with my friends as well. So it's like, but yeah, I think just to have that sort of freedom to do the stuff I want to do and enjoy the time when my kids are young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's funny as well, because you have content where you feature your kids, and you also have content where you're like pubs and skiing without them.
Yeah.
So even if you're trying to subscribe, like anyone who's trying to watch a family vlog channel,
Yeah.
you're definitely not that as well.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And I think it's the hardest way to grow. But I think the people that do follow you for everything are following for you and have a stronger connection to you. I don't want to say you, me. And so I think you then get that sort of quite strong loyalty. I tend to get quite good engagement on things, on various things when I do posts and things like that. I think because of it.
I was trying to explain, because I said to my brother, I was like, he watches a lot of YouTube, so he'd know who Jaackmaate is, Max Bosch. And I was like, oh, Robbie Knox. And I kind of assumed he knew you, because you're exactly that type of like all-encompassing world you fall into. And you're like, oh, this guy's great. And then he was like, no, what does he make? And I was like, I don't know how to tell you.
Yeah, well,
great.
Imagine that's your life and you have to tell people all the time. My jokey answer is I make videos to fill the time between now and the sweet release of death, basically, which does kind of sum it up, which is joking but also not joking. Depending on who's answering me, if I think I can get away with it, I'll just say I make videos, because I imagine if you're 18, it's quite cool to say you're a YouTuber. If you're 46, it's a bit embarrassing. Like I don't want to have to go, I'm a YouTuber. So I just say I make videos and then hope they don't ask any more questions. And then, but now I'll say videos and podcasts, because we did a happy hour tour, I can go, look, see, it's a proper thing. I'm not just having a midlife crisis.
It's not a semblance of like lack of respectability. You've got a semblance of respectability now. How do your kids feel about being in the content? Do you talk to them about it? Yeah. I say to them, I always ask them if they want to be in something. Yeah. I always, and generally they say yes. Sometimes they don't. When I did a video where I went skiing in Bulgaria with them, just me and the two older ones, and I did really well. It was going over 200,000 views. I think and then I think it's because it was on the way over. I said, "Do you want to be in the video?" And they were like, at least one of them was like, "No." So it's a slightly different video than it would otherwise have been, but that's fine. And equally, if it gets to the future and they don't like it, then I'll just take all the videos of them down. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. And also, there's nothing. I never put in anything that's I think could be embarrassing to them in the future, and I also never put them in things that I don't own. So I'll have brands sometimes who'll say to me, they want me to do something. I don't have a while ago. It was to go to some family event and they wanted the footage of it. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that, because essentially I want to be able to take it down if they ever want to in the future. And I know things live on the internet forever, but at least you can. Yeah, you can have a semblance of control there.
Yeah. So, and I can't work out whether me being a YouTuber, I can barely say the word then, can I? Being a YouTuber is going to be the coolest thing when they're teenagers, or the least cool thing ever. Like, I think the fact that I've got one of those silver play button things, I think they quite like that. Do
they listen to Happy Hour?
Oh God, no.
I mean, it's very.
No, I took them when we did the live show in Norwich. I took them down to the theatre to have a look around the afternoon. But I wouldn't let them listen to it. But then Kitty, my daughter's 12. She said, that thing that you go to every week, that podcast. I went, yeah, Happy Hour. She said, yeah. She said, I saw a picture. Was Tommy in it there? I said, yeah. She went, oh, right. And she was just suddenly making these links between this. But because of it, I took Kitty and I took Tommy in it live at Hammersmith Apollo the weekend.
It's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I'm not the audience for it. They enjoyed it.
Yeah. Having worked in TV and done kind of like TV and sports production and like, how do you find that compares to YouTube?
I think I've just got more freedom and control over this sort of thing. I mean, the TV I did, we had a lot of, it was Soccer AM at Sky, so it was we were kind of left alone. Yeah. So obviously Tim Lovejoy, who's the producer and presenter, he was in charge, but we kind of were left to do what we wanted within reason. So I wasn't really at the TV that's, you've not got people interfering from above and all this sort of thing. So I mean, I've always found it a bit weird when, probably not so much now, but you'd get YouTubers would always want to break into TV and all do this sort of stuff. Thinking, why would you possibly want to do that?
You have editorial control.
Yeah, and you can do all this sort of stuff. And the more people involved in things, generally, not always, but generally the worse it gets.
Death with 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. So no, I think it's makes. I don't know why people are too keen. I mean, I get there's a profile thing for them as well, and it gets you into a new sort of market, I guess. But yeah, I much prefer doing YouTube stuff.
So working there, did it ruin it for you?
No, it didn't ruin it, but it was because it was my favourite show. One of my favourite shows before I worked on it. It was my favourite show at the time. I generally think it was really, really good at the time. I think I then looked at other TV shows and I didn't want to. It seemed like a step backwards to go and work on something asking the Killers what their favourite crisp was or something like that. It just looked so depressing looking at all the other TV shows. So I started up my own production company, just making videos for brands and stuff, because it sort of coincided with having kids and that sort of thing. So I thought I want to do something that I can have a bit more freedom to do. Because
production is so... I think that now I think a lot of YouTube creators who would have aspired to TV are looking at production companies. I think they realise they have like a skill and a way of editing that most traditional production companies are missing and brands want more of. So I think like now they're aspiring to that more than aspiring to be on TV.
Yeah.
But production's quite all-encompassing as well. I mean, it's really long days, it can be really long editing times. How did you run the production company and balance like the family time?
Well, there's bits where I was doing things that were bigger jobs, like I've directed TV adverts and stuff like that. But eventually what I realised that I don't want something that's too stressful. My ideal job is something that doesn't involve any other people, because I don't want to have to arrange for someone to come and risk being let down by someone or hire out loads of extra kit. It's me and the stuff I physically own, going to something, filming it for one day, editing it myself, sending it there, and then sending an invoice. And that's my dream thing, that sort of thing, because it's easy to do. You can just turn them out, decent money sort of thing, and it's not too stressful sort of thing. So you're still doing the production company? Because that feels like what you would love is your YouTube channel coupled with some freelance work. Yeah, I do that, yeah. So so I kind of don't do bigger things now. I turn down anything too big, but I'm still doing bits. I've done something the other week for Imperial College. I've done stuff for the Law Society recently. So I'm still doing little bits here and there, but it's become less and less. And also because it fits in. We had the Happy Hour tour this year, which taken up most of the first 5 months of the year. So it's quite hard to fit in other things there. So luckily things have slotted in. But generally I don't look for sort of production work. But if things come along and I've got a gap, I go, yeah, fine. And also, but then also it gets a bit weird now, because if I'm out doing something and it's in public, people will come up to me who know Happy Hour or something, and they'll be like saying things to me, and the people I'm working with are going, so what's happening? Why is they having a photo with you? Yeah, and they're like, the day's long enough without this. Yeah. It's just a little bit embarrassing, and it's like, and particularly if I'm filming something, they come and interrupt or something like that. Okay, so it does become a little bit difficult. And it's a balaclava or a mask or a Mrs. Doubtfire. Could do. It's a weird look though, isn't it? Yeah. It's very strong, particularly in the summer. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a new like balaclava made out of mesh or swimsuit material. I reckon you could probably create. Yeah, okay, yeah. Specifically for your custom market of YouTube creators who don't want to be seen and still work in production. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I think it might attract more attention than is necessary. But yeah. Get random people coming up to you. Yeah. I was going to say, because the thing when I left YouTube and started Digital Voices, I freelanced basically for 9 months. And the thing I found difficult about that was it was really lonely, and I felt like you're used to being surrounded by like smart people who you get on with, whatever, and then you're by yourself. Yeah. But I guess because you've got Happy Hour as well, that probably fills the social part. Yeah, it does. But I sort of look a lot of the time and think, I'd quite like a Christmas party. You miss out on that sort of social thing. But to be honest, because I don't really work that hard nowadays. Like, I do. No, that's not it. When I'm doing something, I will work. I'm very professional. I work very hard on it. But the actual hours of a day that I work aren't that many. I'll generally start work when the kids go off to school at like 8:30, and I will pick them up from school at 3, and I probably won't do much after that most days. There's days from away, obviously, if I'm doing happy hour in London and stuff like that. But when I'm at home, I generally won't do much beyond that unless I've got a deadline for something, because I want to hang out with them afterwards. So, so I have got a sort of, I mean, I've got like a family at home to hang out with, and I'm quite a social person anyway, so I do sort of meet up with friends quite a lot of the time. And happy hour does sort of fill that gap. Yeah.
You've got a lot of like collaboration videos as well.
Yeah, I started doing the sort of these walking videos to meet people as well, sort of thing, and because those are quite. I really enjoy doing that because I like getting out and meeting new people, and also because there's so many interesting people in the world of YouTube. I like that you can just pick people and go, I want to be their friend, so I'm going to, so stuff like that. So that there's this sort of travel van life channel called Travel Beans. If you go across them, that I am obsessed with. I watch every video. It's my favourite thing. And it's just a lovely couple. They've just had a child called Alex and Emma, and they've been just travelling around in a van. And I got onto them because I will watch, when I'm going ski, I'll watch every ski video. Doesn't matter how bad it's, any vlog at all, I will watch in the area. And then when I run out of things in the area, I'll go in the surround, I'll just move into the country and do this sort of thing. And I found them through that sort of thing. Yeah. But I basically thought, I want to be their friend. And it's happening. Yeah. I make it happen. I invited one. Alex came along to happy hour. I'm going to do a walking video with them soon and stuff like that. So you can just sort of make friends with people. It's good.
So how do you approach, because this is what I used to love about the YouTube space, and now it's gone. It's harder, but you used to be able to like turn up at events and you could just meet creators.
Yeah.
And I feel like that doesn't happen in the same way. Even VidCon and even like Summer in the City, Social in the City, feel a bit more corporate now. So how do you make that happen?
I think it's slightly more difficult with what I do and the fact I'm 46, because I like to have a mix on the channel of genders, ethnicity, and all this. But it's quite hard if there's a girl I don't know who's in her 20s to just message and go, hey, I'm a 46-year-old guy. I don't know. Do you want to go for a walk somewhere in the woods where no one else is around? That's a red flag. Let's be honest. So it's like,
I'm really scared of agreeing to go on the walk.
But we've met, so you're all right. You're okay. You're fine. We're on camera now.
Robbie's great.
It's all right. Everything's fine.
If anyone's worried about it, he's a safe person.
Well, let's see. I'm ready to do a video with you. So if it never surfaces, we'll know something bad's happened. But it's like when I did a video with Becky. I'd never met her. And I would never have messaged her and gone, hey, do you want to go for a walk? Because I think I look a bit weird, but she'd message me, or I think we followed each other or something like that on Instagram, and she replied to something and said, hey, after lockdown, we should do your video together. I was like, that'd be amazing, that'd be great. Whereas I don't think I ever would have messaged her, because I think I'd have been worried about it. It looked a bit weird. But the way I do, generally, what I would try and do is build relationships with people beforehand. So I will comment on posts or Instagrams, or share things that they do. If it's someone I like, I'll be going, I like to share things, go, this is great, video is great, or something like that sort of thing. So at least they've got some awareness of who you are beforehand. Or if you've got someone who's a friend, get them to at least warn that I'm not mental.
Not really. You're not, and actually really good at communicating online. You're really good at like replying to messages in a very considered way, which I quite like. Sometimes I'm like between things and I rush or forget messages, whereas you clearly put the effort in. You like construct like proper sentences. You're quite good on Instagram in that way.
I think I am good. I don't know whether it's just from having a sort of TV background or production sort of background before, but I think you have to be aware of answering everyone's questions, because it's so easy. Some people just ignore things, don't they? Really just ignore things. But I think so. If I'm asking someone to do a walk away, hey, I do not assuming anything. So I do a video series on my channel where I do walking things. It's basically going for a walk with someone. It takes about 90 minutes to film. I can do it in a location convenient to you. I'm flexible on dates and times. Here's an example of it, and I will generally tailor that to whoever it is, sort of thing. So if it's if it's a random person, I might send Jack because it's got the most views, or if it's a comedian, I might send Lloyd Griffiths or because it's a comedy sort of thing, or someone if they know someone, I'll send the video of them sort of thing. So just thinking about so any worries they have, you can sort of assuage. Is that a word?
Assuage,
assuage from the off. Never used the word assuage. Quite
I
like
the
it.
word assuage. Yeah, it doesn't sound weird like moist.
No.
Assuage is a good one.
Doesn't sound weird.
How was the experience of being on tour for 5 months?
Weird, like nice. I mean, great. I mean, what?
Still talking to everyone.
Oh yeah, because it's a nice group of people. And I think that shows how nice the people are. That there wasn't a single argument while we were there. There's things. I mean, you try with anyone. There's things that you find a bit frustrating, but you've got to say that everyone's coming from different angles with stuff. So it's like and no one's right or wrong. It's like I generally get up early, and we do a bit at the start of the show. We do all caught up where we talk about what we've been doing. So the ideal situation would be for us to go somewhere, do something in that city, because people like when you talk about their own city sort of thing. But I get up early. Jack would get up late, just because of our natural sleep habits. But that I could be frustrated by that. But equally, the most important thing is everyone's well rested for the show. So it's beneficial for us all to get as much sleep as we can. And the fact that I've got to sit around for a few hours in a hotel before, and it's just something that has to be something. So you've just got to be a bit.
Would you do anything interesting with your mornings? Would you like go for a run? If you knew everyone was asleep, and I'm assuming you were in different hotel rooms.
We're in different hotel rooms. Yeah, we are in hotel rooms.
Nice. Didn't make you share beds.
No. And do you know what we had as well when we got through the itinerary from the tour manager? It had a thing, and it had like artist hotel and then slightly worse crew hotel. I was like, this is not the socialist utopia I dreamed of when this was happening. Sort of thing. I mean, I didn't care enough to because I'm going to give a fuss.
So you're like,
I'm going to say no, get me out of the Radisson and into the Premier Inn. But I was like,
marked different.
Well, actually, that's not true. To be fair, I did say to the tour manager, he's a guy called John McDonald Taylor, who's done work with everyone. Yeah. Like his career's obviously on the down if he's working with us now, but he's worked with like all these incredible artists. And after he went to do the Strictly tour, he's working on Jack Whitehall at the minute. But lovely guy, so knowledgeable about theatre. And I said to him, because I was finding it a bit weird that everything was tailored around us. Yeah. Like, if we wanted to leave at 10, everyone would leave at 10. Or if we wanted to do something or travel back after this, everyone would do it. And I also said to him, I said, it feels a bit weird that everyone's doing what we want. He said, the thing is, he said people often say to me, are people divas and all this? And he goes, the thing is, we are. But he's sort of saying, there are, tonight, he goes, there will be, if you include everyone who works in the theatre, everyone who's working on the tour, everyone involved in all this sort of stuff, there will be 50 people who'll be working tonight because of what you do, who'll be earning money for their families and all this sort of thing. And the most important thing for that is that you are well and able to do the show at 7:30 every night. So you've kind of got to tailor that to that. I was like, okay.
Awesome.
In that case,
like, okay,
get me this.
I need no green M&Ms. Did you have anything on your rider?
Drinks and snacks, like sweets and stuff like that. And to be honest, I didn't really drink during.
Just trying to be on it every day. It must be.
We had, because we did a test show in Norwich for 100 people just to see if we liked it, and we did, and we had a few drinks before that. But then before we went on proper tour, we had Lloyd Griffith on the podcast to give us advice. That's the end of it. He's a friend of mine, and he was saying, "Don't drink while you're on tour." And Jack was like, I was going to have a few drinks beforehand. And he said, why do you want to have a few drinks beforehand? He goes, well, just to relax me. He goes, does it relax you or does it make you forget things? Because he said, if you can name me one other job that you would ask someone to have a few drinks beforehand, do it. He goes, if you're in an Uber, you look a bit stressed with the traffic, mate, have a couple of pints. If you're having an operation, you don't get a surgeon, just so you got a steady hand, have a couple of beers. He goes, it's not
Rock
true.
Stars?
Do you know what? I can answer this because his name dropping out. I was in the Travis dressing room a couple of weeks ago in Norwich because I'm friends with Andy Dunlop, who's a guitarist, and we were chatting, and he was saying he wasn't drinking because they're off to LA now to do the album, and because he came to see us in tour in Liverpool, and I was saying I wasn't really drinking on the tour unless when I had a show the next day, I'd drink it. If we didn't have a show the next day, I'd drink. But he said you don't drink for the audience, you drink for you. He said, and that's fine if you want to. But people try and dress it up as you're having a drink to relax you. He goes, no, it's not true. You're having a drink because you want to have a drink. He goes, it doesn't help. So
it's indicative of problems rather than positive things.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. And that doesn't mean it's wrong to do, but be aware of what you're doing, sort of thing. And I'm very much, I didn't really get stressed at anything on the tour as long as I'd done my thing. So as long as I'd was as well rested as I could be, turned up for sound check on time, knew what I was doing, was as ready as possible, then it doesn't really bother me about anything else or the crowd or anything like that sort of thing. Because
So you don't find that stressful at all?
No. I mean, I did a podcast for a different thing, like one live show with Lloyd Griffith, because we did a thing during lockdown called Cooped Up, Lloyd and I, where we just talked. Essentially, I think it was to stop Lloyd from killing himself, because lockdown started and he'd just moved into a new flat on his own that he bought. Yeah. She's like, hey, do you want to do, he goes, I'm like really lonely, do you want to do like a podcast like every day where we just talk about stuff? I went, yeah, I think I kind of have to. So without my conscience.
I'd say no.
So like at 5 p.m. every day, we'd talk for like 20 minutes and he'd just upload it. And it was just like a thing of what would happen, but nothing would happen because it was lockdown. So it'd be like, oh, I got delivery today and stuff like that. But we did like one live show at the end of lockdown to sort of celebrate that. And I was nervous for that because I'd never done anything like that. Yeah. But I'm happy, Aaron. No, the first night I wasn't nervous, but I took myself away to just run through things in my head, compose my thoughts. Yeah. But after that, I'd just be sat here, fine, the tour manager coming and go, right, time to go, fine. It wouldn't be absolutely fine.
So now it's funny, you've gone from being behind the camera to definitely the performer. That's like a traditional performer, and it doesn't stress you out. It's good.
But it's different. I think it's what you're used to. When in my video mongery, production company stuff, I would do a lot of interviews with talking head things with stuff. And there's a guy, I won't name him, but he was a leader of a council in London. So he's standing up in front of, I don't know how many people in the council, 50 people in the council, and talking, quite happy doing that. Yeah. He was more nervous than anyone I'd ever see when he was filming him. To deliver one sentence, you could see him shaking, sweating, he just couldn't do it. Whereas if you'd told me, because we did lots of on-camera stuff at Soccer AM, if you said, you got to do a live thing in front of 500,000 people, I'd be fine. But if you said stand up in front of 50 people, at the time I'd have been, oh God. But now, I've got used to it, Ben.
You've got used to all of it. Were there any funny stories that you can share?
Yeah. I mean, there's loads. I mean, quite a lot of things. There's more sort of. We'd always meet people afterwards, because I started doing these vlogs as we went along. I did like a daily vlog, so I'd film. Just had a little camera with me, just film as we went along throughout the day. A little bit of sound check, maybe a little bit on the show or something like that. I'd do this, and I'd edit them. As soon as I woke up in the morning, it took like an hour to do, just dropping everything in and cutting it. And I'd have it out that next morning, normally by about 10 o'clock. From the night before, which is pretty good on a tour, sort of thing.
To be honest,
before Jack's awake, I'm chucking out.
That's what you did with your mornings.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I kind of did, yeah. And because my thinking was, well, look, if we're showing this where we're going out and meeting people, it might help sell some tickets. Yeah. Was the original sort of thing. Sorry. So as I say, we'd go meet people at the end, and sometimes we'd be there for like an hour and 40 minutes, just meet everyone who wanted to come and say hi. I think fair enough, they come down. It's just nice to go to have a chat with them, sort of thing.
So later in life.
Yep.
What is
not too late in life?
Relatively
late
to a 16-year-old, compared to Becky. What 3 bits of advice would you give to someone who was thinking about it but not sure if they don't fit the mold of being like a typical YouTuber?
Well, you might not fit the mold. You might not like doing it. If you want to do it, try it. So advice for people who want to give it a go.
Yeah, basically. Who are like nervous about giving it a go.
Well, I mean, do it if you want to do it. I mean, with anything in life, if you want to think you want to do something, try it, properly try it, do it for a bit and see if you like it. If you don't, stop. I mean, it's not complicated, but I think you should do things that you're interested in or you regret it.
We used to try and convince people at YouTube, like especially brands, to try doing a series. Be like, okay, you have to try at least 6, and they'd be like, no, we want to do 2 videos, then we'd negotiate it down to 4. But I love that you did every week 6 months.
Yeah, because I think you've got to do something properly, because you might do, because otherwise you get lost in highs or lows. You know, if your first thing goes badly, you might go, oh God, I don't want to do it again. But if you keep up for a bit, then at least you know whether or not you're enjoying it or what. So yeah.
And given that the kit wasn't like an issue for you, because you understood coming from a production background, would you say like if someone wanted to start, like invest in good kit straight away, would you say?
No, you don't need to. I mean, I filmed a walking video with Stunt Peg the other day, and she films it on an iPhone, all her stuff. You don't need fancy stuff. It depends what you want. I've got a nice camera and it looks good, but people don't care. I think there's loads of people who have expensive kit and stuff like that, and who will learn to edit. There's loads of people who are better editors than me and better camera people than me. I think what I'm good at is telling stories, and I think rather than buy cameras, you're probably better off to buy a book that explains what a 3-act structure is, or just or learn or watch things and learn from them, and sort of things. I mean, other YouTube things. I mean, every time I watch a Casey Neistat video, I learn something about storytelling and things like that. So I think focus on that more than equipment, I'd say.
Completely agree. Awesome.
Good.
That's a great note.
Glad to have your approval.
Appreciate
I've
it.
had a lovely time. Nice. Thank you for having me. I've always wanted to come on, but I couldn't really ask. So
You could 100% pass.
I could have. Yeah, but what if you said no? I couldn't come back from that. I'd have to quit YouTube.
So humiliating.
It would be,
Even
yeah.
digital voices turned me down. Yeah, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions for Robbie, feel free to comment below. And subscribe if you want to watch more of these style of interviews.